Good evening, good evening, good evening. Happy April 20th. Holy cow. Ooh. Oh, yeah.
Good evening.
Good evening, good evening. Rob, what's up, buddy?
Not much. It's been a crazy week. How's it going with you?
Crazy week as well. Crazy week as well. Busy as a bee, busy as a bee. Guys, let's all try to pop on camera if we can so we can see each other if possible.
I'm calling in on my phone. I got to go pick my son up a little bit, so I want to be able to listen to you guys at least.
That's awesome, man. No problem at all. Let's do a couple things. We're gonna have, I think we're probably gonna have around 20 or 25 people come in. So if we don't mind, let's just do our usual housekeeping, and we'll mute our mics when we're not talking. We'll kind of do the good old Zoom walkie-talkie. Good old Zoom walkie-talkie. Mr. Pepper, what's up, man? Haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah, it's been a little bit. Been busy. How you doing?
Busy getting rich?
I'm trying. Working on it.
Nice,
Waiting on the
Yeah. Talk about weather, man. Holy cow. It was in Vancouver, Canada. Supposedly it was like the coldest it's been in 100 years or something a few days ago. Did you hear about that, Rob?
No, I didn't. I heard about all the snow they got in Saskatchewan, Manitoba, but I didn't hear about that in Vancouver.
Yeah, crazy wild.
It's insane.
Crazy wild. Anybody else getting snow? Raise your hand if you are. You getting any snow?
We got some snow yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got 8 centimeters. It's all gone now, but.
Well, I was speaking to Mother Nature. She said that she's not going to have a next winter coming, so we're not going to have any winter. That's the good thing. It's just going to go right through. We're going to work right through 12 months.
That's what happened last year. Went from cold to stinking hot.
Craziness, man. Craziness. Latest start I've seen in a long time. All right. Anybody close any big deals this last week?
Just got one today. It's not a huge deal, but it's like $6,300. But I want to tell you about it because I was not the cheapest. I was higher than the other guy. But the reason they went with us, our proposal. So that's the only reason. He said 3 or 4 people told him that our proposal was hands down the nicest proposal they ever seen. So thank you.
Thank you, man. That's a huge Paveman Pro plug right there, everybody. By the way, huge Paveman Pro plug.
I'll give it another plug. I got 7 McDonald's for starting next week, actually. Now for pressure washing, but they all have parking lots. So it's a $17,000 job for 7 McDonald's. I'll take that.
You close that through Paveman Pro?
Absolutely.
Awesome, dude. Awesome. I love hearing this. I love hearing people win through the platform. It was the intent. It was the reason behind it. That's rad. Guys, let's get booking at 7:02. Welcome to the AK Roundtable. For people who are here every week, thank you for being here every week. Thank you for paying it forward. Thank you for being a part of the mission. And for anybody new on here, just know that you're always welcome. And you know, hopefully we can deliver some great value to you guys, and you can leave with a few golden nuggets that you can apply to your business and help scale and grow it. We're going to be jamming into some goal stuff today. I really want to start speaking about a little bit of goals and what framework looks like and how we can ultimately set ourselves up for what it is that we're targeting. If you remember last week, I said, you know, hey, listen, if we don't have something that we're shooting for, then we're not shooting for anything at all. And so, you know, going out and essentially hopping in our truck, our vehicle, and driving around looking for work is good, but you want to be looking for the right kind of work that lines you up towards what it is that you're setting your goals and sights for. So I also asked last week to come back this week with a little bit of something about what your 1 year looks like. What is it that your 1 year, your 3 year, 5 year, your 10 year looks like? And I don't know if anybody had a chance to really dig into that. Has anybody dug into a little bit about what their 1 year is going to look like? And does anybody want to share a little bit about that and maybe, talk about the goal that you're trying to hit and then maybe how you're going to achieve that? Would that be something that any of you would like to do? And if so, use the little reactions thing down at the bottom of Zoom. You can raise your hand just so we're not speaking over each other. Tim, you've raised your hand first, so why don't we dig into that, and then I'll do my best to share some value around this stuff too. But the goal here is for everybody to kind of interact and engage. If you have things to say, don't hold back, say it and talk about it, ask questions, and let's set up so that, as we're all looking at each other here on December 31st, 2022, we're kind of saying, thank God we spoke about that on April 20th, 2022, and we're setting up for that win. Tim, why don't you go ahead, man?
All right. So this is our first year full time, and my goal this year is 250,000. I want to hit 250, and the reason that is important to me is because for next year's goal, I need to hit 250 this year because I want to hit 7 figures next year. We want to hit $1 million. Next year, I want to put 2 full crews on, get myself completely out of the field and out selling. That's what I do best. I mean, I've 20 plus years of business development, and that's where I'm going to do best for our company. By year 4, we want to be, year 3, we want to be in Maryland, and then just head down the 95 corridor, down into Virginia, and end in North Carolina, so I can retire there. That's year 10. So this year it's important for us to hit the 250. I need to hit about 5 to 550,000 in proposals out to be able to hit that number.
So that's closing, Tim. That's closing at over 50% closing rate then.
Correct.
Sorry, you said 550,000 or 500,000?
Well, 500 will get us where we need to be.
Yeah. And are you finding that you're closing at a 50% close rate right now?
Yes.
What do you have closed in your book of business right now so far, like signed, sealed, and not delivered yet?
We're close to 86.
Yeah, so you're going to crush it. You have 170 or 170 of 60. 164. You're going to smoke your numbers. Do you know how many total projects are on that 86? How many total jobs?
Off the top of my head, I do not, because there's some residential in there and some commercial combined.
What would you say the percentage of that 86,000 is commercial?
1, 2, 3,
50%?
Yeah, close to
Probably.
it.
The way I'm seeing this is really kind of interesting. And so I want us to just wrap our heads around this for a sec. So we have $250,000, and we know that if we were to do 10, $25,000 jobs this year, that we could basically go on vacation afterwards if you wanted to, right? If that's really what you wanted to do, that's 10 jobs, right? If you're closing at a 50% ratio in that kind of $25,000 range, that would be a really high conversion rate for that kind of a price range. You'd probably be looking more in around that, 10 to 20% closing rate. I could be totally off, but let's just call it 10 to 20%. And so if you were just chasing that market of the 25,000, do you think if you just put your effort into that specifically, you'd be able to potentially achieve those 10 sales at 25,000 a piece if that's all you were chasing?
Possibly, yes.
So let's just cut that in half. Do you think that you could close 12,500 deals in a season if you were chasing only those $12,500 deals?
Yes.
All right. And then if you did 40 of them, you'd be able to do $6,250 deals, right?
Correct.
So it's super important. I'm gonna just show you something afterwards, after we go through Andre and we go through Mike. I want to show you guys something because there's different brackets of sales revenue that you're going to want to achieve a certain number of bids and quotes for. You shouldn't only be targeting, in my opinion, the $25,000 deals. You should be focusing on targeting those as well as others, and finding where your sweet spot is for your geographical area where you're really able to win, and then pour fuel on that fire and excel. A lot of people think that they're going to go out and close $25,000 deals consistently, and that's all they're going to do. And it's really not the way it's going to work. So what we need to say is, okay, well, $25,000 to $50,000, we're going to close, let's say, 2 deals this year in that range. But in the $10,000 to $15,000 range, we're going to close 20 deals in that range. And so what we want to do is we want to really, again, find that sweet spot and then move towards that. Identifying what your conversion rates are is something absolutely crucial, associated with the number of bids that you're pushing out too. So I've got some information I'll share with you guys here in a little bit, but I think, Tim, you're going to smoke that $250 number just from what I'm seeing right here, man. If you're 86,000 deep right now on your signed quotes, I'd be focusing on the areas of the quotes that you're truly winning on and what that price range looks like, where you're really winning, and make that happen. Like when I hear of you closing those church deals, kind of an interesting niche. If you're winning in that area and those are nice fat deals for you, why wouldn't we try to really nail that, and put some marketing and some ad spend around that, and really make your outbound calls to those people and win in that niche.
Yes.
Anything to add to Tim there? I'll show you guys a chart in a little bit. It'll hopefully help give a visual too.
I got a question for Tim.
Yeah.
Tim, what kind of equipment do you currently have in your arsenal? Like what, can you share that?
Yeah, I have it's a 300 gallon seal coat unit. I can spray. I have air diaphragm pump, hose, 100-foot hose reel. I am adding hydraulic agitation this year instead of the hand crank. So, and then I have line striper that I just picked up. I have a 30-gallon oven for the crack fill. So,
thanks for sharing that.
oh, absolutely.
Kind of a nice sweet spot too for the job. Like when you think about job pricing in around that $10,000 to $15,000 mark, Tim, that's a pretty sweet rig that you have set up there.
Oh yeah.
You start getting into the bigger 25,000 plus projects, you're probably going to want a bigger tank just from the square footage perspective and to be more efficient.
Correct.
Yeah. Mike Huff, what's up, man? How you doing? Long time no speak. You're muted.
Hey, buddy. How are you? Hey.
Doing great, man. Living the dream, bud.
Awesome. Nice. Shout out to Judd. If you guys need equipment, he's hooking me up with some equipment, special pricing. Judd, I appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
Pleasure, man.
Hey, look, we should spend the entire hour doing nothing but listening to Tim tell us how he gets 50% close rate, because I am an hour and a half from him, and we have a lot of seal coaters here, big paving companies, and on my commercial jobs, if I got 5% close rate, that'd be a good day. So if any of us here could get 20% close rate, wow. So I'd love to hear, how Tim gets 50%. And I know he's in sales, so he's got a lot of smarts that I'm sure I don't have, but that's insane. 50%. I mean, I would have $3 million in business sitting here right now if I could do that.
Yeah,
So.
I think to add to that too, I think the market plays a big role in it. There's a guy down the street from me that has like 100% close rate, but he does shit for 3 cents a square foot. So, it really, some markets, there's definitely certain avenues that we take care of that we inch closer to that 50% close rate. But there's others that we don't. I mean, the seal coating market here is washed out. I mean, there's guys doing stuff for, 9-10 cents a square foot. So, I mean, we're putting stuff on the street at a quarter a square foot or 30 cents a square foot. And if they take it, they take it. If they don't, they don't. But we can afford to do that because we're in a different sector of business now. Before, we had to kind of be careful what we did because we needed that business in order to survive. But I think it really depends on the market because, like I said, there's guys in my market sealing for 7 to 9 cents, 2 coats sprayed. I lost one. lost one the other day, and I got speaking with the gentleman and just was asking him some questions just because I really didn't care about the job that much, but I was curious on the situation. And what I'd learned was it was a 48,000 square foot church. Crack filling it, seal coating it, and striping it. It was 9.7 cents a square foot. It's not
Yeah.
much.
So I don't
get off
feel like
that
such a
side.
loser now. Yeah, thanks for saying that, because I was, you know what? Yeah, that makes sense. I didn't think of that. I could get 50% on residential easily. I don't want residential. I do it, that's what pays the bills, but I like to get that on commercial. And I guess, if you drop your price real low, or there's nobody doing it in your area, hopefully for Tim, it's the latter of those two. But I'm bidding them out at like 25 cents a square foot for commercial.
Yeah.
And I think most guys are bidding them out probably around 20 cents a square foot where I'm at, but it's me, my son, my wife. So, we don't have to load up 10,000 jobs, but we definitely need to load up some jobs. And that's an area that I need to get better at, closing the higher priced commercial deals.
Yeah.
I'll be quiet.
I'll jump in here on this, and I would say the conversion rates are going to be dramatically impacted on a variety of different variables that are going to really determine what that conversion rate is. There's just so many pieces of the sales funnel and a conversion cycle. It's just there's so many aspects of that. If I ask you the question, Mike, where are your leads truly coming from? What have they seen? What content have they seen? How have they been nurtured? How have they been educated? How have you communicated with them from moving them from a marketing qualified lead to a sales qualified lead? And actually, how have you interacted and engaged with them? What is the verbal communication that you're having with them? Is it average as the competition out there is saying, or are you saying things that are very different, that are more problem solving and value driven? Are you giving a proposal that has steroids pumped into it, where it's something that's dramatically different? Are the line items in your proposal more emotional, as we've talked about in past roundtables? What is the time sensitivity on that? What is the video that you're going to send of the actual project that you're going after to attack? What are you doing differently than what other people are doing to ultimately yield a conversion that may not be the lowest price, but maybe the most value driven? And I know a lot of people out there that shop for price, a lot of people. But I do know a lot of people that shop for value as well. And the people that really, really shop for value are people usually that I'm able to win. And if I can win on price, and I can negotiate with that person to be able to make it win, and we can all win with a price match and even beat it by $50, then I'm going to do it. And at the end of the day, it's how do we communicate effectively to build the rapport and the relationships with people so that we can look at each other at the end of it all and say, hey, I'm going to be the go-to guy for life, and I'm going to be the right guy that you're going to come to for any of your pavement maintenance needs. How are we going to develop that relationship? So I want us to really go all the way back to the beginning of where a lead is actually generated. I'm not talking about cold calling here. I'm not talking about going to a dealership and knocking on a door. I'm talking about like actually writing stuff on a board that talks about leads, digital, how you're going to generate leads through the digital marketplaces, what content they're going to see, word of mouth, prospecting, people people that your people know. Cold calling's not even on my board. Fuck that. I don't want to see any cold calling. You know how much work cold calling is? It sucks, man. It sucks. But I can drive people through my sales cycle here in an effort to ultimately give them the things that are very, very different than what other people do. And usually that ends up converting really well for me. So I want back, with Tim, when he said that he wasn't the cheapest, but he used a proposal and they said they took it because the proposal was very different. That's one micro aspect of that conversion. It's important. But I think Tim probably smiled and he was friendly and he probably came off as that guy that they wanted to conduct business with. And they saw that he was going to be there, and he had good reviews when they went to go check on him, and all of those pieces. So don't forget to go, and I know you don't, but don't forget to go right back to the very, very beginning and where are they coming from and how are we dealing with them all the way through that process to either a closed won deal or a closed lost deal. And if it's a closed lost deal, ask them why you lost it. What could I have done better next time to win this? And if they say we're shopping for the lowest price, they're not your right customer. But I'm telling you, if you can build that process, build that journey, I'm happy to work with you on that and share what I've done inside. Share that with you so that you can have more than maybe what you have right now that can help you.
Well, Judd, the other thing too, I would say is, I personally think, and I was, I'm guilty of it too, years ago, but I personally think that people don't, I guess, get everything that they could get out of a lead, in the sense of they kind of waste the lead. To an example of people call, say, I want to get a price, they shoot them a $10,000 proposal, and then they just let it float, never call them back. If they call and sign it, great. If not, what the hell? And you've wasted a lead. People, there is some people that'll just say, sure, sign me up, get it done. But I can't tell you how many, 20, 30, 40, $50,000 jobs that I've personally sold that have closed on the 5th or 6th phone call.
Bingo. It's why we have platforms in this digital era that we live in that can help us with that. I mean, guys, I can't remember everything that goes on. I mean, I've got stuff written down on paper that I'll throw out or lose, but like the digital platforms that I transmit it to will remember and help me to do all those follow-ups, right? Like, when you have, Chris, you use Paveman Pro right now, and when you're putting your proposals out right now, and you can see what you've won and what you've lost, and your bid win rates and all of those pieces. Do you find that having that gives you kind of that GPS or that beacon of where you're on track for or not?
Yeah, in that sense, for sure. I mean, it definitely lets us know what we've put out versus what we've sold versus our close rate and everything else like that. But we're using an outside platform, so we don't actually send the proposals out of Payment Pro anymore. So we transfer them to another platform where we put all the customer's information in. We send everything out of there, and we make all our phone calls out of there. So every phone call, every email, everything that's sent according to that customer is in their file. So if I go to call Bill, I can open Bill's file. There's every phone call we ever had and what we talked about. And then in that same thing, when I send a proposal, I can say, okay, set follow up for, January 12th at 1 o'clock. And it all downloads onto my calendar. So every day when I open my phone in the morning, I can see everybody I have to follow up with today. If I call them, I talk to them, and they say to call back next week, as soon as I hang the phone up, it comes up and says, would you like to save any notes? So then I can go ahead and schedule the next phone call, or if they didn't answer, I can say I left a voicemail. So that's how I keep track of who I need to call every day, because I could honestly, I couldn't remember. It's not possible. Anybody that says they can, I would love to talk to them because they're a genius.
Guys, I use HubSpot. I'm a big promoter of HubSpot. It's a platform that, I mean, we wouldn't be able to do what we do. We have 19,900 contacts in HubSpot that are assigned to workflows and automation and all kinds of cool stuff. And the neat thing is you don't have to be a real solid expert of HubSpot to use it. They've got HubSpot University that teaches you about the system. And then they've got freelance networks like Upwork and Fiverr, where they have people in there that are really great at tuning the inside of HubSpot for you into a lot of automation and tasking and really helping you. But yeah, use a platform that allows you to really manage those leads. Back to goal setting, and really kind of understanding how we're going to achieve our goals. I want to get back onto that. Andre, you have your hand up. I'd love to hear about what your year looks like ahead and how you're setting up for it, man.
Yeah. So I did have the revenue goal, but kind of past that one already. So it's more about the goals that I have. I want to at least take on one full paving project, hopefully a small driveway or something like that. My biggest goals, I got them written down here. basically to build a culture and automate a system so I can get out of the way a little bit more and hopefully be able to provide more opportunities for everybody. So yeah,
What's
that's
your-
where I'm at.
Thanks for sharing, man. What's your revenue goal for the year, if you don't mind me asking, if it's not confidential?
Well, no, I had it at 250, but I passed that already.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
It was
with
250.
project.
So it was 250 for 2022, and we're April 20th, and you already passed that?
Yes, sir.
That's
But that's
awesome.
only from the one big project that I shared last week.
Right.
I got that at 158. So,
Right.
and then I landed the HOA and a couple other projects. So, what made me go after commercial projects, I don't know if this helps anybody, but like the pricing thing was an issue for me. So like, you know, it sucks getting outbidded by 9 cents, 8 cents sometimes. So my strategy was, well, let's go somewhere where these guys can't go, you know, and that is the big whales, I guess. So because they can't provide the insurance, they don't want to provide the insurance. They don't want to take on that kind of responsibility or put their name out there like that because, you know, a lot of these guys aren't legit. So maybe if you are getting outbidded, go for the big projects you don't think you'll get.
It's an interesting point. There was an RFQ that was out for crack sealing along the 401, and it was like 68 kilometers of crack sealing, and nobody bid on it. There was just a guy that we knew who didn't even have a pumper, and he had no way of applying it, and he, for jokes, shits and giggles, bid on it, and he got the deal. He was the only one that bid. Wow. And he got it, and he bought a pumper. Put a deposit down in the pumper, was able to pay it out in like 6 installments, and did the 68 kilometers of crack sealing. Made a couple $100,000. And so, you know, a lot of the time, oh no, man, we can't do those big projects. We can't go and do that. And I would say strongly, and we're bringing somebody on right now who's able to come on. I'm excited to have him on here. And so, you know, winning those projects you don't win them unless you take the shot, right? And not to say you want to focus your full effort on that 24/7, but certainly taking some cracks at it. Why not? Looks like we have Mr. Keith Calloway in the house. What's up, buddy? What's up, brother?
Not much, man. I just was at the dentist and I got my braces off and got a retainer on. I'm like back in middle school.
It's awesome. For I don't know if everybody knows you, but I know some people will know you on here for sure. Keith Calloway, K&L Industries out of Oregon. What's up, man? Thank you for being here for a little bit, bud.
Absolutely, guys.
We're speaking about goal setting and actually being able to achieve goals with the business. And I was saying last week on the roundtable that, you know, not having a target means you don't have a target. You're not shooting for something. And if you don't have the framework to hit the target, then you really don't have anything except for just that kind of target. But at least you have something, right? The key is to have the framework developed in understanding what you need to do to achieve that goal that you're setting. It's not only about the revenue, it's about the actual walk away, what you're actually able to make at the end of the year and enjoy and be able to reinvest. And so can you maybe share a little bit about what you guys are doing at K&L? I know you guys are growing like crazy over the last 4 years, and I know you've definitely had monster impact on the company. So would you mind sharing a little bit about that, Keith, and some of the things that helped you?
Yeah. So when it comes to goal setting, if you don't have a goal, it's like being on a boat without a rudder, right? You have no way to steer the ship. You don't know if you're headed the right direction or the wrong direction. So what we do is we reverse engineer everything in our company back to what goes into our pockets, right? It starts with the bottom line. Everybody wants to that big, sexy top line, but who cares if you did $100 million and you lost $1 million? right? Like pick your margin, chase the margin and be relentless about it. So what we do, like we work backwards and our sales guys get to choose what they do. We have the benefit of a bunch of data. We probably have more data than most of you guys even understand is possible to have out of your businesses. But we've gone from $1 million in 2015 and we're going to do probably 15 million bucks this year. That's our goal on the wall. And in order to get there, I know that we're going to need somewhere in the neighborhood of $60 million bid. And if there's $60 million bid, I know that we're going to need right around 4,000 outgoing bids for this year. And that means the 5 salespeople and my dad and I and the sales director, we're each responsible for 800 bids this year. Any of you guys don't even put 800 bids out for the whole year. And so we're trying to make sure that we get in front of the right people that are going to get us to the right goal, and then basically understand what each type of work does. So each of you guys does some form of asphalt. So asphalt, maybe it's seal coating, maybe it's crack filling. Each one of those pays different. Like you don't need the money, the size of job for crack filling that you do for seal coating to make the same margin, because crack filling is a high profit product. So you might need 500 linear feet a day for your season to get to your crack filling goal, but you need 30,000 feet a week of your seal coating goal. And so you just start working those numbers backwards and say, this is what I need to get to my goal. And that way, you know exactly what you can change if you're not going to get it, right? Having a goal is important, but also understanding where you're going wrong and sideways is going to be key in you making the changes as a business owner to get where you ultimately want to go. Does that make sense?
Makes a ton of sense. And I think what happens, Keith, thanks for that share. It's what happens is there's so much distraction and magnetic force to just doing what is comfortable, which is going out, knocking on some doors and closing some deals and feeling that dopamine rush of getting a job done. And at the end of the job, you're looking at the end of the day at your pocket and you're saying, well, I've got 500 bucks in my pocket or $1,000 in my pocket. The reality of it is you're not going to achieve the goals unless that's your goal. If that's your goal, then that's your goal. But you're not going to get to the bigger numbers by that kind of mindset. If there's no plan, there's no plan. And
right.
And so, I think that what I want to touch on too, Keith, because you do it so well, and I know you're driving and limited on time. I really want to touch on the importance of the culture associated with attached to those numbers and how the team plays an intricate role, starting with the leadership down to and not even down, but across to the other team members that are allowing you guys to really get to that 15 million that you're going to hit. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so we run all of our like problem solving through our core values, and then we run it through the filter. Does it get us where we want to go? So to Judd's point, if you do a job, even if, let's say it's 10 grand and you only make 200 bucks, you don't have a job, you have a hobby, right? Like make sure that you're profiting enough that you can pay for everything, and that it's not the daily wage that you have to work. It's, and all of us are seasonal. You have to divide up the months you don't work and then somehow make enough to cover that. So what we ask our sales guys, they're like, hey, can we do this? The answer most of the time is absolutely we can, but should we? Should we do that? Is it something that like one of my highest paid estimators, he sold 4 million bucks last year, and he's like, hey, this customer wants us to do this little 10,000 square foot or this $10,000 tiny little job. Do you think we should? And the question I asked him is, I want to know if it gets you to your $5 million goal in sales this year. If it does, then let's go do it. If it doesn't, then let's maybe pass it on or refer somebody that we know for them to go do it. So we run it through the filter of, does it get us all to our goals? Because if we all don't get to our goals and it's not good for everyone, then it's not good for anyone. And that's really what we ask. It's like, I'm willing to do anything, wherever you want to go, but we better make sure
lost you a little. You're back. You're back. Yeah, that makes it makes a ton of sense. I'm curious in knowing, like, who on screen here does not have any goal or does not have any real solid roadmap. Honestly, raise your hand if you don't. And I wouldn't be shy to do that because at the end of the day, there's help. And if you don't want to raise it and you want to reach out to me privately, please reach out, because the last thing I want is anybody on this screen, straight up. The last thing I want is anybody to go out there in the fog and not really know where they're going. It's not an okay feeling. It really is not an okay feeling. And if the goal is to just go out and work hard and just do the best that you can do, that's awesome. But if you really are looking for a plan and you're really looking to achieve something that's different than what you're doing right now, please reach out. It's super important. Keith, so 15 million bucks this year. I'm sitting here in awe, because I remember 3 years ago you came on to Top Contractor School. And you were, I think it was maybe 4 years ago, but 4 years ago, time flies. And you came on and you spoke about a huge project that you had closed. It was do you remember that monster project that you had closed? What was it? How big was it?
It was $1.5 million. And I thought it was going to make our year.
How did it happen?
So I'm gonna put myself on I'm gonna turn my video off so we don't lose my audio.
Okay.
While I drive here, but I'll tell you. So
We lost you. Keith, you're gone. You're gone.
That customer's in front of the garbage cans. Are we back yet?
Yeah, let's try one more time. If it doesn't, then we're gonna have to hop on a jam, you and I, and we'll have to share it with everybody. Yeah.
Yeah. I should be, I'm right by the river, and so I should be around this little mountain. I got full bars now. No, it started out by patching a pothole right in front of the dumpsters for this trailer park. This like they own 40 or 50 trailer parks across the US. We patched over the years like 5, 6, 7 different times, and they watched how we did it. And they really liked that we came back and warrantied it once. Like, it fell apart and we came back and fixed it for free. And they called us up and said, hey, we'd like, our budget is like $3 million in Oregon this year. Could you help us spend that in the right spot? And I was like, yeah, I could probably figure out how to help you spend $3 million. How many zeros is that? And we did. We got $3 million with one of those jobs being $1.5 million. It was 580,000 feet of 4-inch grind, and then paved back at 3, double seal coat stripe on that one, and then there was 2 other trailer parks we did the same thing on. It was amazing.
Wow. Well, once you tasted that, how much kind of drive did that give you after you guys tasted that?
Oh man, I think the difference is, it's like, you know how like those guys that are serious about fishing, and like we all stand on the shore and throw our lines in and like sit there and drink beer and just kick back. Well, that's what I was as a contractor. I was like the guy hanging out on the shore that would just kind of make a little money, catch a fish here and there. And now I'm the guy on the boat that's got every piece of instrumentation and knowledge and branding and all those things, because I'm like, not only do I want 1 more of those, I want like 4 of those a year. And I know they're out there. Like, they're the magical, that white whale, if you will. They are there, but you really got to search for them. Like, you got to put the time in. You got to brand well. You got to put out, like Judd's doing right here, put out tons of videos so that people understand who you are and what you sell, so that it's not just a one-time deal like a snake oil salesman. And then you go and you back it up. Like when you and I were talking about that, Judd, how many videos did K&L have out? None.
None.
Like there was none. And now we put out we put out somewhere around 75 videos a year. Because I want to be the leader of technology in our market. Because if I'm the leader of technology, then I appear as though I'm the biggest and most qualified contractor, and I can solve their problems because I'm now the expert.
It's so incredible because, you know, watching the journey, the evolution of K&L, watching you invest into your team, invest in the culture, go on trips to the National Pavement Expo, not just you and Dad, but like your whole team. Like how many people came with Dad?
We took 31 people to the National Pavement Expo this year.
I mean, that's mind-boggling, and that's not costing you money. It's not spending money. It's investing the money.
Yeah, I mean, if you ask people what it costs over 6 figures to take everybody for a week with wages and everything else. But what it earned us, well, I can't even put a number on it. I bet you we get back $1 million in investment because of that. And we get loyalty, and we get people that value what you do, and that they know that they're cared for, and so they'll work harder, and they're more honest. Like, it's culture.
Yeah. This is real. I appreciate you hopping on, Keith. This is awesome stuff, man. Does anybody have any questions for Keith before we go into asking Connor and Anthony to pop on here? Any questions for Keith right now? Don't be afraid. He's here right now. He's built an enormously beautiful company. Don't be afraid.
Quick question. What was the biggest lesson taken away from landing that well and the whole process through that?
So I think one of the biggest takeaways for me was just understanding that I could, right? Like people buy and sell based on the things that are in their mind. And what's in your mind, if you don't believe you're the best and you don't believe you're the right answer or that you could get those jobs, you're going to eliminate yourself from having the opportunity. And I think that we handicapped ourselves as an organization because I didn't know if we could. Well, now I absolutely do. Like, if you called me up and said, I got a few $1 million and I want to have you mill and pave 10,000 tons, I'd be like, all right, what day you want to start? Right? Like, but I didn't believe. It was that like internal belief, looking in the mirror saying, you know what, I could do this. We can do this. We're going to do this. And you know what, we deserve this.
That gives me chills what you're saying right here, because you put a video out recently about believe. And I can't express that enough, you know. If you cannot believe wholeheartedly in what it is that you're pushing forward with, you better start learning how to. You better
if you don't believe in you, the video Judd's talking about, I said, if you don't believe in you, how do you expect me to believe in you? Right? Believe in you first, and then it all kind of works out. Like people, that magnetic energy, that confidence, it oozes, right? It's contagious. People want to be around people like that. And when you walk in knowing that you're the answer, like not arrogant, not cocky, but confident, everything works itself out.
100 million%. If you're struggling with sales, take a sales course, learn sales, role play, do it over and over again until you become an expert at sales.
Yeah.
If you're challenged with marketing and you don't necessarily want to be doing the marketing, find somebody who's incredible at doing the marketing for you. If you're not good at video editing, get somebody who's great at video editing. But don't be afraid to step into that next level of being able to grow and scale yourself. Believe. Yeah, man. Keith, thank you, brother. Thank you. Any other questions for Keith? All right, let's boogie. Thanks, Keith. I appreciate it, man. I know you're busy over there, so.
Yeah, I'll hang out. I got another little drive here, so I'll be on.
I love it, man. All right, so Connor, let's go into the goal. Let's see what the big goal is and what we're gonna make happen this year.
Yeah, so my revenue goal, I want to hit 450 this year. Big part of that is I just got a guy who I'm kind of training to take my place in a way for next year. That's been my biggest issue, is I can't get out of my own way. like even right now, like my close rate is outrageous. I'm like 90% close rate, but I'm not. It's because they're all organic. I'm not out looking for them. They're calling me, so they're the easiest to close. But I could be doing so much more. I can't get out of my own way. I can't get out and hunt them right now, you know. So my goal would be, yeah, like get this guy moving, get him trained up this year, get another crew out next year, and I could start kind of stepping away and hunting those big white whales, you know. Well,
Keith has
right
a
now
Keith has a
Sorry.
question for. Sorry. Go ahead. Right now, what? Sorry, apologies. I thought you were.
No, you're okay. So right now I've got 146 under contract ready for the season. So I might maybe
Nice.
hit that goal early and move it up. We'll see.
It's awesome. Keith is asking you if you know how many working days there are in a year for you. Do you know how many working days that you have? Anybody?
No.
Like, yeah, I don't think a lot of us have a clue how many working days we have left in a year.
Yeah, so Connor, I would give you some advice. If you want 450, I know that we have 210 paving days in Oregon. We have 100 seal coating days a year. So if we want $1 million or you want $450,000 in seal coat, then you need to work that backwards. And if you're gonna let's use 100 just because it's easy. You need $4,500 a day in gross sales. So if you need $4,500 a day for those 100 days, then that gives you a benchmark to start working from, to say, this is how I know I'm either on track or off track to reach my goal.
Yeah.
Right. Like some days are going to be $10,000 days, and some days are going to be like those 3 driveways for $1,800. Right. They're going to be small, but like you got to start watching the numbers, keeping track. We call it using a scorecard, keeping your scorecard each week, saying, I know that I need $24,000 this week in order to reach my 450 for the year. And start keeping a running number. And it could be something simple on an Excel sheet. Write down every day when you're going to work how much you're making, and then start averaging out those days and say, am I meeting that goal if I have 100 days to work this year or not? And if not, what do I need to change? Either I need to change my activity going into my sales stuff, or I need to change my goal. One of the two.
Makes sense.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. I've never really broken it down into days like that. That's a good thought. Like I've looked at it in weeks perspective, where my goals need to be, what numbers I need to hit per week. But to break it down into days, when you put it to a number like that, it opens your eyes how little time we have.
Yeah, if you look at that 146K that you have on the books, how many days is that 146K going to take from that 100 days that you might have, right? And you might be ahead. You might be able to look at that and say, "Holy cow, man, we can amp up here. We're going to be pretty good."
That's the plan.
You know, that's awesome. And the 146K, do you know what the average job price is?
I don't know what the average job price is. No.
Do you know what the total number of jobs are out of that 146? How many jobs?
Probably 60.
Yeah, so you're at $2,433, right? On the average job price, if you broke that down. And so if you look at that 2,433 as an average job price, I think you're in a fantastic range to make some magic happen. Are there residential in there that are drawing that average down?
Yeah, there's residential in there. Yep.
Yeah, so I guess I would just I would love to hear a little bit more on this too, from other people. Could those residential jobs be actually in the way of achieving the higher goal? Keith, do you do residential paving?
We do residential paving and we do residential seal coat, but you might be surprised to find what our minimums are. So we did this exact exercise to say, are we getting to our goal doing that? So our seal coat minimum is $1,000 per feet.
Say that one more time, Keith, you cut out.
Our seal coat minimum is $1,000 because we figured out that the people who wanted to spend 200 didn't get us to our goal.
Yeah.
Right. And so we made our minimums go up. We lost some customers, but this is an interesting one. And Judd, I'll email this and maybe you can send it out to everybody.
Sure.
If your margins are 40%, if you have a 40% gross profit on your jobs, and you take your price up 10%, you have to lose 25% of your annual business to make the same money. Think about that. Yeah. Take your prices up 10%, you work 3/4 as much and you make exactly the same as you made last year. That's crazy.
Well, let me ask you this, like from my standpoint, one of the reasons I don't want to back out of residential right now is like, I feel like I need it to be able to get a second crew on and to help keep them on payroll in the future, like moving into next year and the year after. Like I feel like I need those residential jobs just to, even if it's just to keep money rolling in the door to have guys on payroll to help for the bigger jobs. Does that make sense?
Right. Yep. I think so. What we've decided to do is we keep residential on because it actually is a good market once you get your pricing right. A lot of guys think that you give the same price for residential seal coating as you would commercial, and you just don't. Like, it's more expensive because, the margins should be much higher because they're, to be honest, pardon my French, they're pains in the ass. Like the people are there, they're running, they're like, oh, you can't do it at this time. I have to get out for soccer practice. I can't do it at this time. Like they're scheduling nightmares, and they should be highly profitable. So as long as you can get your margins right and get your minimums correct, then you're aces. I wouldn't give it up unless of course you're doing 5 million square feet a year of commercial, then you're just kind of a different tool. Right. But I think that residential has a place, but we just charge twice as much for it. And what we figured out, and this goes back to, I learned this at Gold Digger, Judd. Jeremy Haynes said, when you go to Disneyland, do you buy the fast pass and do you buy all those things because you want it to be easier and nicer and better? And I'm that guy who buys everything. I want the fast pass, and I don't want to wait in line. I don't want to wait. That's how I buy. Half of the customers that you're going and meeting, they want to buy premium products. So guys, you're shooting yourselves in the foot by not giving them a premium opportunity to pay that price.
It's such an important thing right now. And if you're reading any people who are actually in the marketplaces in sales right now, and their message right now is, do not be afraid to raise your price and give that price that gives you the healthy margins. Do not be racing to the bottom. Have confidence, do things differently, and have the margin that you need to be extremely successful. And Keith, what you just said right there is 100% right. Somebody who quotes a 600 square foot driveway, $150, versus somebody that's charging $400 and explaining the detail around the premium offering that's being provided is dramatically different. The person's either going to go with one or the other. You might as well give them the option to actually go for the premium and deliver the value as to why, right? You can't just be an average, person giving out a chicken scratched proposal of a $150 of a $400 driveway that's the same as $150 delivery. What are you doing differently? You can hear the way that Keith speaks right now, the way that he communicates. You can hear him articulate the way that Keith, when I knew him 4 years ago, was not this way. He was different. He's learned, he's growing, he's experienced this tremendous growth pattern that he's developed for himself because he's committed and disciplined to do it. That's why he's achieving the 15 million, because he's committed to it. He doesn't sit around waiting for it to happen. He's here. You guys are all here. We're committed to doing that. That's why our goals will be getting achieved. Obviously the plan's important, but we're moving in the direction of progress, and we will achieve our goals. Does that help, Connor, at all?
Yeah, definitely. Appreciate it, guys.
I would also just add one more thing, Connor, to that, is that if you're challenged right now with people with team, you know, you might want to, I wouldn't say, you know, not hit your goal, just maybe make sure that the goal is aligned with what it is that you're setting up for maybe your next big, you know, big stage of growth. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know this year is a building year. You know, it's getting all the pieces in place to be able to grow at the rate I'd like, you know, so.
And you'll make a couple $100,000, man. Congratulations.
Thanks.
You're welcome, brother. You know, that's healthy margins in our business, and keep them healthy and walk away with cash in your pocket. Anthony, let's roll, man.
Yeah, awesome. I just love hearing you guys. I just can sit back and listen to this stuff all day, and so I appreciate taking in all the knowledge, guys. It's fun, and Keith, those numbers are gigantic, and to see how fast that happened for you guys just gives you almost goosebumps. So I feel like I'm pretty much kind of sitting in Connor's boat too. I have I'm trying to keep 2 crews full time this year, and I've been mostly residential and these last few years, and I've capped out right at about 200,000 in gross sales. And so this year I am trying to double that now that I'm attacking more commercial work. So trying to go for 400, and I hope that I'm shooting too low on that, and that I just keep like muscle powerhousing through that too. Right now we have about 80,000 stuff lined up, but I have like 170,000 out there that I'm chasing, that I've put bids out there. So just trying to close, and like trying to do what Judd's talking about, is like trying to differentiate myself, and like, how am I different? And I'm a teacher, so I do try to play up like the responsibility of a teacher and everything like that. But one cool thing, because I have a lot of residential contacts now just from the last few years, and just about 20 minutes ago during this roundtable, one of my residential clients just reached out and said, "Hey, do you do parking lots too? We'd love to have you come look at the lot." So that just got me thinking, like, to make sure if I am reaching back out to these residentials, to just mention that we do commercial as well, in case they've got some contacts for that too. So but yeah, I'm trying to keep 6 guys busy, and I'm trying to elevate. I have one like rock star foreman that I kind of started from the ground up, and like, he basically is my shadow, kind of knows everything that I need him to do. And I'm trying to get 1 or maybe 2 other guys elevated to that this year. So a lot of training and a lot of routine, and just, you know, getting them comfortable with taking on that kind of a role. So that's kind of where I'm at. So it seems real similar to Connor's deal.
Congrats, man. And do you have any kind of, you know, data that you're tracking and measuring as you're going through this, that's beyond kind of what you already have in the books and what you have out in bid? Like, do you understand how it's categorized from a bid price range, and understand what your win rate is within that range or not? Or do you not necessarily know that?
Yeah, you know, I know like my residential win rates are probably 50-50 right now. And I'm still trying to gauge the commercial, because last year I did like 5 or 6 smaller commercial gigs. And so I'm trying to understand what that close rate is. And I guess just based on what I'm hearing you guys say, you know, 20% would be pretty good for commercial, and of course the different size ones. So yeah, cool, man. I'm taking a peek at this right now as you pull it up. But yeah, man, spread me some insight on this. What are we looking at?
Cool. So guys, this is I'm going to try to get you all subscribed to this for free for a period of time. No, I'm kidding. This is Pavement Pro, guys. This is on the inside of Pavement Pro. For people who are on it, you know what all the menus are over here, and we've got video training inside, and we've got some pretty cool stuff. But this is kind of the target stuff. Can you guys all see my screen? Okay. Yeah. Great. So is it too small, or is it all right? Thumbs up. All right, cool. So you can see here in the column, what we need to understand is that this is not filled by a human here in this particular target dashboard. This is actually data that's coming from proposals that have been previously submitted, right? And goals that you've set in the system to be able to have the system feed to this dashboard. And so if we want to achieve certain goals, we need to be able to plug in the numbers that make a lot of sense. And so we want to see our job size range from this kind of price range through here, and the average size in square foot that we're going to want to deal with. And then we're going to see the number of actual jobs that we want to close as our target, okay, within these price ranges. And then we want to know that, you know, we're setting, we want to set it as a win percentage. So I want to close 50% of these deals. I want to close 40% of these deals, right? Of the 100. That's my goal. This is all my goal setting, okay? And so target all the way over to the right here to target gross profit. This is all like I'm setting that as my goals, okay? I'm programming the system because I need to have a target to shoot for. Otherwise, I don't have anything to shoot for. And it has to be realistic. And you can see at the bottom, it's going to tell you the total revenue. Of course, Anthony, in your case, you're shooting for 400K. Let's just call it 500K for fun because that's better. You know, 400K, 500K, whatever the number is, that's the target. And it's going to give you the number of jobs that you are planning on closing. Again, this is all target. The cool thing is over on the right-hand side here is the actual. And so inside the system, it tracks your wins, it tracks your losses, it tracks everything, and then feeds this system to tell you what you're actually doing. So number of bids out, I can see here 6 bids out isn't even close to 200, right? 18 bids out is not even close to 100 yet. Of course, we're only April 20th. But you can go down here and you can see it also bid progress. It talks about the percentage, how close we are to achieving what it is that's needed. And so you can see down in this category right here, look at this category here. 20 total quotes needed, win rate, 10%. We're looking to achieve 2 total jobs. But look here. There were 12 total bids that were out, 60%. Bid progress is already 201 out. I'm already way past this, right? Do you see that? Bids out. I'm sorry, my bad. 12, you have 12 bids that are out of the 20, which is 60% of our target by April. Bid progress, we're rocking it through the season. Within this year, we're way ahead. It hasn't won yet, but these are all the bids that have converted into an actual deal, number of jobs that have closed in this range. It speaks about the percentage that we've won of the total bids that have closed, right? So bids out, bids won, percentage, win progress. So won progress, what we're doing is attached to our wins that target back to our original target for our wins. And then the revenue that we've generated so far this year. So I look at this and I say, am I on track right now with the bid progress? Am I on track right now? Yes. Won progress. We're at 43.65% of the won progress. We're hitting that 311 out of the 2.6 million that we're looking to achieve. But without having this kind of data, I just don't know how I would remotely have a pulse on where I am in my journey. I'd have it in Excel, I'd have it somewhere, but then in that Excel, I'm going to need to make sure that my bids are being tracked because I've got to get how many bids out? Holy shit, I've got to get 800 total bids out to get my 2.46 million, or if I'm doing 500,000, then maybe I need to get 200 bids out, and I'm having to track those independently offline and then on Google Sheet, and then I'm having to manage that over on another Google Sheet, and then I'm trying to put together a dashboard, and I'm doing this at 11 o'clock at night after I've got the trucks packed in the yard, and I have to get my marketing and my social media done and all the leads that came in throughout the day, and I've got to man my phone lines, and I mean, realistically, we need to simplify and understand the key aspects of our business where we can actually have a pulse on where we're going and how we're driving. So to me, guys, whether you do this through, I don't care where you do it on HubSpot, Salesforce, Pavement Pro, PaveSoft, other platforms, whatever you do, have a pulse of where you are and where you're going, and at least aim for something that's exciting to you, not just something that's like kind of exciting to you, you know? Anthony, I'd go for 500 grand, worst case.
Sold. I'll go for 500 now, man.
You know, Connor, bump it an extra 50, man. Go 500.
All right.
You know?
I'll race you, Connor. Let's race to 500. Let's do it.
Boom.
Yeah,
Wouldn't that,
check in at week 13.
dude, that would be sick. Yeah, listen, you guys, if you had two Pavement Pro dashboards like that, or any dashboards that could truly speak to that side by side as a race every Wednesday, oh shit. Oh yeah, that's good stuff. But guys, listen, you know, at the end of the day, we're past 8 o'clock here, and that's cool. I just really wanted to express the importance of, if we don't bring this stuff up and we don't challenge each other with it, and we don't get the thought process going as it relates to what we're speaking about, then there's no real opportunity to sit down, lock yourself in a room. I spend way too much time on my whiteboard, man, to be honest. It's like that I feel bad. The whiteboard, I had to literally, I had marker that it was permanent marker instead of the erasable marker that I put on it. And the only way to get rid of it was an SOS pad. It was terrible. Nothing else would remove it. I mean, but I'm on there and I'm thinking and I'm driving and my door's shut and I'm doing stuff that's pushing to that next stage of what I call that growth. And so I urge you guys, as it relates to your goals, to do that. Lock yourself in a room, put your phone away, leave it in a freaking, leave it in an office somewhere else, and really lay it down. Think about what Keith said. Think about what everybody's said here on the screen. Mike, you've got your hand up here. Do you have something else you want to add, or is that from earlier?
No, that was just a question. I was just going to ask you real quick, like for commercial work, right? So like most folks on here, I've got mine from doing people's driveways. They like the work. We do their commercial lot. So I'm cold calling. I don't know a way just to go on Facebook or Google Ads and get parking lots. So what do you recommend for most of us as the best route to get unsolicited commercial work?
The very first thing I would do is I would pick up my phone and go to my contact list. And I would reach out to every single person on my contact list that I know in the area that I could potentially conduct business in, and ask them if they know anybody that owns any commercial properties. That's the first thing I would do. Okay. And then once I've exhausted that, what I would do is I would ask the people that you're communicating with if they can ask other people that they might have in their contact list to help support a local business and help support you in this effort to really grow the business. Because what happens is once you create the momentum in your business, once you have, 8, 9, 10, 12 of these underneath your belt in a short period of time, there'll be spotlights on you. It's going to create momentum like this freight train that's unstoppable. We have slow sales days, we have challenges in our business, but the momentum in our business is powering so freaking fast forward, dude, that like I'm telling you, we are in our business, we're unstoppable because that momentum is there. It's so power packed. And so Google reviews are pumping. You've got, people posting their products and equipment that they've purchased from us on social media. We're retag. It goes wild. And so I would say to you, exhaust the people that you know, and then exhaust the people that your people know, and then come back once that's done. And let's talk about the next step. That's what I would do. Yep. And if they don't, if they don't answer the phone, like if they don't answer the phone, send them a text message or send them an email too, yeah, I mean, that's what I would do. And I also love sending video messages to people randomly. I do, like if I'm trying to really connect with somebody and they're not answering, it's pretty cool. this is a pretty interesting story. I think I mentioned it last week, but we were trying to get a hold of somebody like 8 times. He wanted to start a striping business. The guy came to us and he was really excited, super energetic, and he's about to change his life, and he's gone through a rough period, and he's a great guy, really cool. But once he left that conversation, he was back on his own, and it was just him, and it was him thinking on his own, and he was not inspired and motivated and feeling like driven, and like the way we feel kind of when we come off these kind of things or when we're together. He backed off and felt alone. And then finally, after so many different phone calls, finally one of our guys, Jake, reaches out to him via his cell phone with a video message, and bingo bango, the guy starts his striping business the next day. And so do things again that are different. Reach out via video. If you know somebody who owns a car dealership, man, and Mike, off reaching out to you, man. I just love the opportunity to be able to walk your lot with you, and I really think I can help make it safer. I can make, because it's a dealership, make it look great, prolong the payment asset, and make sure it's safe for your clients that are walking it. Yeah. Mr. Martin, you have a question before we roll?
Yes, sir. Do Asphalt Kingdom help with financing equipment?
We do. Yeah, we've got ClickLease, Klarna. We've got a bunch of different options for sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we can hook you up. We can help you out for sure.
All right.
And James, I think we probably have for sure we have your email. So we'll reach out to you with some information on that and whatever we can do to help you, man, for sure.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Hey,
Mr. Bailey? Yes, sir.
What was it, me? Hey, just going back to your video topic there, I think Gmail has a video messaging, do they not, where you could actually attach a video message to an email going out to someone? So if you're kind of sending cold call Gmails out to people, can you not? Has anybody ever heard of that or ever tried it?
I have not done it through Gmail. I generally will do it through SMS, and I'll also do it through WhatsApp. I will also do it through Facebook, and I'll also do it through Instagram. But I've never tried through the Gmail, but that's a good point. A lot of people have Gmail accounts, a lot. Yeah, good thought. I'd love to hear if somebody. I'll try it. I'll come back next week and let you know if it works. For sure. Jay, my eyes are terrible, so I can't see your last name, brother. Scordelis?
Yeah. So can you hear me?
I can now. Yes.
Okay. So one of the ways that we generate leads is we'll go into an area and go talk to the city and find out where they're citing management companies and stuff. Because this is the time of the year where like apartment complexes, their parking lots are a mess from being oversalted and ripped up by the plows. So we go after the people that have, broken catch basins and big holes in their lots and stuff. And we're kind of proactive. We just send guys to just drive the lots, take pictures, and just give us the addresses. And then we talk to the city and say, hey, have these people been cited? Because if someone's been cited, then there's an urgency. They have to get it fixed in a time period. And they don't have an option. They got to get a contractor in to get it taken care of. And then the other problem is their insurance company tells them that they have to get their lots fixed, because if someone breaks a tire or tie rod or whatever, their insurance gets hit for it.
It's brilliant advice. I love it. I absolutely love that. One of the things that we used to do too is we used to literally go around to find where they were redoing all the roads, where they were paving, and they were doing all the sidewalks and culverts and drainage, and they were basically working redoing streets. And so we would go to the parking lot, the pavement asset owners, after it was paved. And generally there's a mess that's left, half of the asphalt parking lot's been cut out by the foot, down by the down by the street. And so you've got this old asphalt, this new asphalt, this discoloration, and they've already had work going on there. So they're kind of more in the mindset of, hey, you know, while that work's getting done, what a great opportunity for us to get this all cleaned up. We have the whole street that's now clean for our business. Now we can make the face of our business beautiful as well and tie them together. And so that's something that used to work really well for us. I love that that advice, man. Thank you for sharing that.
And the one thing that I'm doing with the Paveman Pro is we're taking them addresses, we're doing an overlay, seeing what the damage is, and then when we call them up and say, hey, what's your email address? We send them the quote. So it does make it easier. That I was talking to Michael earlier in the day. The only one thing that I think is a little weak on the Paveman Pro is they need to get the concrete portion and the sewer portion a little bit better in the software, because a lot of these parking lots, when you have to go do a catch basin repair, you're going to do concrete work. You got curbs that have been blown apart that you might have to repair. Plus you got dumpster pads and other stuff in there that's concrete work. So we're doing both. We're doing concrete and we're doing the asphalt. So we got two different crews, a concrete crew and an asphalt crew to do all that work.
That's great feedback. I'd love to get any feedback that anybody has regarding Paveman Pro. You can feel free to shoot that over to me via email at any point in time, because at the end of the day, we're going to be continuously progressing it and investing into it to help you guys win more. So I appreciate any feedback. That's important.
Cool.
My email, by the way, is Judd, JUDD at asphaltkingdom.com. And you guys can email me about anything, anytime. I'm right there for you. Guys, 8:15. Anything else? Any last any words, questions before we pop off here? I see Jeremy Staple. You're at your shop, man.
Yeah, this is our shop. Still got some brand new Titans sitting around, and some seal coat, some paint. The pallet right here behind me, the big white one is literally one set of stencils for Amazon. I have 8 sets of those across the country, and they're a pain in the ass to move around. They're 1,000 pounds of stencils for every single project we haul around to those, so we can stencil 200 stalls at one time for them. So yeah, it's a work in progress.
You're about to go do some stuff in Western Canada as well, I believe, right?
Yeah, so that's part of our Amazon rollout that we're working on. It's right now 327 sites for the first year, although permitting has been an absolute nightmare, so it's been slow taking off. But yeah, we've got I think 30 sites total in Canada over the course of the year, and yeah, the rest in the States. So
incredible. Congrats, man. Super excited for you guys.
Appreciate it.
And, everyone, I started an AK Roundtable Facebook group. If you are on Facebook, you'll probably want to go check that out and join it. I'm going to be sharing exclusive stuff in there, and I hope that you guys will as well. Never be afraid to share your wins. Never be afraid to share your challenges. That's what we do right here at the AK Roundtable. That's kind of the mission. I also put a cool image up. I don't know if anybody saw it. It's really kind of neat. It's a wood table with these cool wood chairs around it, and a chandelier kind of a thing over top of the table. But that's kind of what I want us to imagine, is that we're together in this environment, working together. And if you want to share your logo by email with me, I'll add it to the wall in the room as well, which is super fun. I want us to feel this. And so if you want to share it, Judd at Asphalt Kingdom, I'll post it. We'll get it photoshopped onto the stone wall. And then hopefully at the end of this year, we can meet in person, whether it's at the NPE or down here or wherever we might be. But I'd love to meet and celebrate with you all too. So let's keep the ball rolling. Everybody got some value. Everybody got some takeaways here today. Thumbs up. Cool. All right. Excellent, guys. See you 7 p.m. next Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you so much for all the shares, for the time, and we'll catch you soon.
Thanks. Have a good night, guys.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a good night, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
Night.